Oh, hey there. This is Mousey Ming. His great long time ago grandparents came to this country from China. He lives here now and he's taking summer school to kind of get caught up from where school's been out for so long. One of his assignments was to write a story that he had heard from his parents or his grandparents or somebody like that. So he wrote a story that his great grandmother used to tell him. And Mousey Ming asked me if I would read it to y'all and see if there were any mistakes in it and if it was ready to turn in for class. He even put it in a notebook. It's ready to go. All right, Mousey, we are ready to start. Why cats and dogs are enemies. Really? Now, Mousey, you know I've got Abby and Bobby Sue, and Abby's the dog and Bobby Sue's the cat, and they just love each other. Oh, well, he said a long time ago, cats and dogs didn't like each other, and maybe Abby and Bobby Sue are just special. Of course, neither one of them like mice. This is a story from China told by a mouse. There was a house that I used to visit for my supper sometimes. I knew the way in very well. There was a tiny little door by the back window, so small that you would probably never notice it. But I'm a mouse, and I can squeeze through the teeniest of entrances. To tell you the truth, the place was going downhill. Every time I visited, there were fewer and fewer crumbs. It was hardly worth going there anymore, and besides, there were dangers. They had a cat. This cat was getting skinnier and skinnier, and I should have known that he would be on the lookout for a tasty morsel like me. This is how I got caught. I wasn't paying enough attention. I got distracted. Although I have a twitchy nose, I'm not nosy in the other sense of the word. I like to mind my own business. But one night, I could not help but overhear an argument. The man and the woman of the house were shouting so loud. "It's all your fault we're starving," said the woman in a high-pitched voice that sounded most distressed. "We shouldn't have gone and sold my mother's ring. All you got for it was an old horse, and he went lame. Now we've got nothing. "What's your mother's ring got to do with it?" asked the man. "Because I told you 1,000 times, the person who wears that ring will never go hungry." "Well, I don't believe in magic and all that nonsense." "You don't believe in anything I say. That's why you are so thin your pants keep falling down." Ooh, it was quite an argument. But now I understood why the house was getting so poor. The man had sold the magic ring that kept the pantry stocked up. I wish I had a ring like that. It was also interesting that I hung around for a fraction too long. This is why the big mistake happened. Bam! Everything went black. Am I dead or alive, I thought. But I soon knew that I was alive because I heard voices I recognized. The dog, a scratchy mutt who smelled like a rotting old blanket, was saying, "Hey cat, hang on. Don't eat that mouse just yet." "Why shouldn't I?" said the cat. "I haven't had a decent meal in days." "Well, neither have I," said the dog, "but the mouse will only satisfy our tummy for a few hours. Let's be smart about this. He can help us fill our stomachs and our masters for the rest of our days." "Starvation has robbed your good sense," said the cat, Cats know that dogs aren't always real smart. "This is a mouse, not a hen. He will not lay eggs to feed us." "No, no, no," said the dog. "That's not what I mean. The chief thing about a mouse is that it's small." "So," said the cat, "he can slip through the tiniest of holes." "So," said the cat, "well, if we take him to the house where the magic ring is, he can slip inside and get the ring. He'll do this for you because his life depends on it. I know where that house is. The magpie told me. Let's head off straight away." The cat saw that the dog was not quite as stupid as he looked. He held me by my tail in his mouth and sprang through the window. Ooh! Held him by his tail. "Oh, Mousey, I'm sorry." The dog followed. Off they both ran down the alleyway. I was bouncing all over the place. I can tell you, it was the most horrible way to travel. But hey, I was alive, and that's the main thing. We left town and reached a river. The dog said, "Okay, in we go." But the cat pulled me down and held me with his paw. "Not so fast," the cat said. "I never learned to swim." "Oh, never mind that," said the dog. "Jump on my back and I'll carry you over." So splash, in we all went. The dog paddled to the other side. So it's Mousey in the cat's mouth, the cat's on the dog's back, and the dog is paddling. Way to live dangerous. The dog paddled to the other side, and from there it was not far to the house. Inside we could see a man and a woman, both plump, well-fed, happy expressions. The dog said, "We've come to the right place. Let's hope she takes that ring off when she goes to bed." The cat prowled around the house looking for a way in. There's usually one if you search hard enough. We found a tiny hole. "In you go, and bring back the ring if you value your pathetic little mousy life." So in I went, still glad to be alive, but not too optimistic about finding anything. I can sniff out crumbs, but mice are not equipped with a nose for gold. Fortunately, I saw it glinting in the moonlight. The lady had left it on the table with her other jewelry. They were pretty rich. I seized the ring in my mouth and slipped back out again. "Here it is," I said. "I hope you are as good as your word." "Say goodbye to this cruel world, little mouse," replied the cat, with claws flashing in the moonlight. I trembled for my life, but the dog wolfed. "Stop right there, cat. We gave our word, and we must keep it. A promise is a promise." We returned to the river and swam back as before. Soon we were in town. This time, the cat went over the rooftops, while the dog ran down the alleys. I went home to my nest. Now, there is a follow-up to this story. A few weeks later, I was going past the house where the cat and the dog lived. The light was on, and I looked through the window. The human couple were having a feast, and the cat had put on some weight. So I thought, it's true. The owners of the magic ring will never go hungry. I too deserved a reward for my daring part in the rescue of the ring, and I decided to slip inside and get some crumbs. But round back, I found the dog tied up, more miserable than ever. "What happened?" I asked. "The house is full of food. Why aren't you in there?" The dog whined. "That filthy lying cat deceived me. She ran to the house before me, taking the short way over the rooftops. As soon as she got back, she sprang into our owner's bed and woke them up with the great gift of the ring. Oh, how delighted they were. She is rewarded every day. But as for me, they punish me. They think I'm just a smelly, useless animal, and they tie me up outside. I'm lucky if they remember to even throw me a scrap. I shall hate that cat till the day I die, and so shall all my puppies hate all cats forever.